welcome to the LEC post-game lobby where I'm joined by Golborg and Jankos because I was kind of desperate for G2 to win because I haven't done an interview with Jankos before. My name is Frankie, by the way. Hello, nice to meet you.
Hello, my name is Jankos. Nice to meet you.
It's nice
And
to meet
I'm in the middle.
you too. Yeah, no one cares about you.
That's okay, I can
Jankos,
leave.
let's talk about the fact that you just smashed XL. How do you feel?
Well, I mean, I don't think it was a smash, really. I think, again, we had like a rough early game. We are pretty known for it lately, fortunately. And the team also made mistakes that allowed us to crawl our way back in the game. And then, we kind of played better team fights. But I think it was a pretty exciting game. I think, the fact that we were losing really hard early and then we made some good plays, I think was definitely fun to watch and exciting for the fans.
Well,
but tomorrow's game, we want to make it a little bit more one-sided.
That's the thing, right? Because I think a lot of fans are looking at you specifically and be like, we want them to improve and we believe you can improve. Would you say that your improvement is coming fast enough as well? Because as you're saying, like the early game issues are still there. You had to fight your way back and a lot of that maybe came a little bit of XL making mistakes as well that you were able to punish. Are you seeing a good curve towards playoff?
Well, I mean, I think our goal right now is to make playoffs, of course. And what we wanted to focus on is early games just because normally when we are ahead, we win every game, but we just are not ahead that often. Fortunately, when we are behind, we don't lose every game, right? We still have games where we are still win when we are behind. I think it was kind of one of them, right? We were not behind too hard, but definitely we were behind in gold in the early game. But yeah, early game is one of the things we are trying to focus on. The other thing, of course, is meta read and how the game is being played and overall our mechanics, everything. That being said, I think it will get better and it's getting better and we still have a lot of time before playoffs. But again, we need to make playoffs first.
That makes a lot of sense. Golborg, you're my favorite, just to clarify.
Wow, thank you, Frankie. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I did understand it was banter as well. It's totally fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh, was it though? We've got to talk about Kia Player of the Game. Jankos, you're one of the nominees. Do you feel confident?
No.
Yeah, and do you know?
I mean, I think my team fighting was good, but I think my early game was like pretty garbage. So it's like, flip.
Yeah, but that's kind of spread across the board when it comes to G2.
Kind of. I mean, I don't even know who are the other ones. Probably BB and Flacket maybe.
If you want
and I
to
think
cheat, you
Flacket
can look
team
right
fighting
there.
and laning phase was really good, so it makes sense. Yeah, okay, Flacket.
Yeah. I was going to do a big announcement and everything. Guys, your Kia Player of the Game is Flacket with 58% of the vote. But you should take some credit for that. You were setting up your teammates so well.
I mean, I think Flacket had pretty straightforward game to play.
He did die.
And he did play very well, so.
Is that something new as well, like having to integrate playing from different side as well? Because obviously G2 has always been a very flexible team from like drafting point of view, but also play style point of view. And this time around, you didn't go for an Aurelia Viego up towards playing topside into Naya. You went for Ide. You're on Sejuani now. Flacket on Sivir. Let's see if we can get him ahead in the early game. Do you feel fully comfortable playing from each side of the map from G2 at the moment?
I mean, I think we can play from each side of the map. I just think that some of our drafts in the previous weeks were not played very well, but also we made it hard for ourselves. I think the way we drafted today, for example, is like very straightforward. I think this like also how the top of the league drafts. It's like really, really, really easy to play. You don't really have to sweat for it. You just like have a comp that is super easy to execute. And I think this is how you get wins, right? And in playoffs, you can change things, you can experiment. But when you are sweating for games and when you really, really need those wins, then of course you wanna take the easy way out when it comes to drafting and then just play the game, and just have to be better. And it's always going to come down to which team is better in the end. But I do think that this kind of comp is just easier to play.
And just quickly, do you feel like that's what goes into the meta? Is that more like what's the playstyle actually is, or is it comp dependent?
I mean, it's part of the meta, of course, right? I think it's very similar in Asian regions, right? I don't really watch much of NA, so I don't know if it's similar there, but I think it's like quite straightforward right now, the meta. And I don't think anything is going to change for playoffs either, since the patch is pretty much the same, maybe like little changes. So people will figure out counters to what is being played now. And of course, you can go 2-3 steps ahead. But currently, I feel like we will see very similar drafts for the next 2 weeks.
Oh, boo. Well, early today, we asked fans to ping the lobby with your thoughts on patch 12.14 and how they thought it would impact pro play. Now you've heard Jankos' opinion. So let's take a look at their thoughts, starting with Johnny. What's Johnny got to say? He thinks that top lane has even less impact.
That's like gigacopium, actually.
Gigacopium.
Can you elaborate
He's been
on that?
huffing.
I mean, it's just that Herald is very strong now, gives more gold. If you get the Herald, because top lane is winning, you probably get a tower. If you get a tower, you get 2k gold. If you get 2k gold, even if they get a Drake, it doesn't actually matter because you can fight the next one. So I think top lane being useless is like the biggest meme ever. I think top lane is quite an important role right now in the meta. Of course, every role is equally important, and in solo queue it can vary a lot. But at least in competitive games, I think saying top lane has less impact is like you are bronze and you just don't know how the game works, and you are just like saying things.
Thank you.
Johnny has just been
I'm sorry,
absolutely
Johnny.
schooled by Jankos. He's not really sorry though, is he? Right. Harry. Niech Harry. So it's actually not Harry? I'm so confused by your Twitter name, mate. Right. Sadly, Azir comes to mind with sustain, nerfs, and scorch buffs.
I mean, personally speaking, myself, I think it's great. You could already run into the trees of like Airy, Azir, right? Now you just get even more poke with that. And then you take into the consideration that you can't really optimize too much into the green tree as much as you could before, just due to the fact that some of his nerfs. I don't think it's immediately going to make them super busted and be the champion you want to play, because this Scorch buff was also for champions like LeBlanc potentially, or the sudden impact buffs for champions that wanted to take aggression in the early game. And Azir's not always that champion, depending on the matchup, of course.
Jankos, any thoughts? You don't care about mid?
I mean, I kind of agree, right? I don't really play Scorch nor a lot of the trees, because jungle tree is always the same. You go Conquer and you just go like boots for free, right? And CDR. But I do think that Azir is more of a lane bully now if you decide to go Scorch and you want to really push.
Well, finally, we've got a tweet from Andy. This is the thing that will probably get a cheer from the audience. Removing Yuumi will improve game state any patch.
I completely agree with that.
Why does everyone hate the kitten?
Because I think the design of the champ is flawed. I think it's like giga unfun to play against, and either, yeah, she's useless because her team is useless, or she's giga OP, monster OP, monstrous OP, because she cannot be killed, and she's just going as a little parasite on top of a different champion that is fed. And many champions synergize with her so well that just can die, perma heal, so much damage, CC, can die. How do you play against it? So I think this champ has a flawed design, and I think it should be removed or banned from pro play at least. And if some people want to play in solo queue because they are really into that, cool, I don't mind. But I do think pro play is like so disgusting.
Can I just really, really quickly, do you think it's BM that Fnatic let SK have Yuumi today?
I mean, I think that the way Fnatic drafted around it was like in a way smart, but I also think that the way SK drafted around it was like not smart. So, I mean, I still think that Yuumi is you know, very high prior in every region pretty much, right? I think only in LPL they don't really care about Yuumi, but there's still some combos like, yeah, Sivir Yuumi, Zeri Yuumi, that, or Twitch Yuumi even, that are very, very powerful. And I think if Yuumi can get on a jungler in the mid game, it's so free win. And in solo queue, it's so, like in high elo, it's so disgusting. So anyway, I hate it.
And Zoomies, that he got nerfed as well in the recent patch, and we should talk...
Oh yeah, it got nerfed, right? Yeah,
Yeah, big nerf.
Yeah, it got
Really big nerf.
Yeah, good one, yeah. 5 kill, yeah.
It got nerfed a bit.
Yeah,
It got nerfed a bit. Maybe not enough for you. Anyway, just remove the Eek entirely. It's fine. Then Jankos will be happy. Gilborg, what are your thoughts on what we saw from 12-14 today?
Well, you know, we were
impact we
expecting
saw.
a lot of bot lane priority at least to come through because of the Drakes as well. I think we didn't really see it to extent where it's just like everyone come bot all the time and play like Fnatic did last year, for example, in summer. But I think we still see it become more teamfight oriented due to the fact that objectives pose so much more value, even Herald now as well, right? So having the fact that, okay, let's just put my top lane on and on like we saw Fnatic do, or even today with you guys with Sejuani as well, just make it easier as well for that mid to late game. I think it makes it easier for teams that are struggling to play, and I think it's a patch that's really good for some of the early game teams. But unfortunately, that didn't show today. Mad Lions and XL lost, so I'm not really sure where to keep my expectations right now.
Were you satisfied playing Jarvan today, given the changes?
I mean, I think the patch for me at least is kind of a breath of fresh air. I think the meta is not super different from last week, but it's just the fact that in solo queue at least the objectives are worth more, and as the jungler you always do the objectives, right? So for me the game feels more rewarding if I play well, because I just get the Herald, extra gold, I get the Drakes that give stronger buffs. And besides that, I think Riot's trying to make the games a bit shorter, as you know, it's kind of the meta right now. No one really wants to sit around and watch like a 1-hour game where nothing is happening. You want fast-paced games with a lot of kills. And I feel like, of course, making people fight for objectives will make games more fast-paced. So I like the changes. I think it's fine.
It's one of my favorite things about reading the patch notes from the dev team. Is just like, yeah, we think the game's a little bit slow at the moment. we really want to see more fun in the early
game
game.
didn't go up too much. It was just less fighting we all of a sudden had. So I think that makes a good sense to get more of the team fights in to make the game more exciting to watch when it really is there.
Well, look, let's move away from the patch slightly now. Let's take a look at our standings as 4 games remain for all of our teams on the road to playoffs. It continues to be a tense race in the middle of the pack. But Jankos, surely you can breathe a little bit easier after that win today.
Yeah, I mean, I think even if we were to go 2-0 this week, we still have to win a lot of games last week, the next week, right? So it doesn't really matter. I think at this point you just focus on every win, and it's quite equal. Whether it's Excel, Fnatic, or Misfits, all the teams can still make playoffs. So I think it's kind of exciting. I think it's probably the most exciting split we had in a while. I leave it to audience to decide whether it's good, because let's say teams are worse or better. I don't really care about that much. Personally, I'm just sweating to make it. So I think it's also fun for the players.
Well, I think as well, just like Madline's taking a loss at them, you suddenly being at 8. Like Madline struggling tomorrow, you getting a win, you're one victory of first place. I feel like it's so close between all of the teams.
I'm excited, I have to say, about the return of El Clasico. Are we allowed to call it El Clasico? Is it still El Clasico?
I mean, I guess so. Are you talking about like our game versus Fnatic?
Yeah, G2 versus Fnatic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, I don't, yeah.
You're not bothered by Fnatic anymore. Who's your new nemesis if it's not going to be Fnatic?
I think it's fun that we play Fnatic because, of course, I face against Wunder, and today I face against Mickey, right? And it's my ex-teammates that we had a lot of success with, so of course I want to play them. Same goes to Perks, right? But like, I don't think much about the hype around the game. I just think about my own team and how we play the game, because that's more important.
And so far there are 4 teams above them they can call a nemesis right now, so.
That's true. Fair enough. Okay. State the obvious. But which one is your favourite one to beat if you're ex-teammates?
I mean, I think all of them are really, really fun to play against, and I hope that I can meet all of them in playoffs. Currently Fnatic Excel are like one win behind us, right? But that can change very quickly. So I hope all of us can make playoffs and fight it off there. That being said, I think we are the only ones that lost to BDS so far, which is Grabs and Dachman, which are our old coaching staff, right? 113, the only one win G2 Esports, so that kind of sucks. But I really hope they will win one more game. I think they will as well. I think there's no way they will just go like 117. I think they will win one game. And I think I look through games, right? And I think every game that they win matters for us in a positive way, because they play all like the middle of the pack teams, which are every team right now, I guess, is the middle of the pack team. So anyway, they play all of these 4 teams left, and I really hope that they will get a win somewhere on the board.
Well, looking at the schedule tomorrow, Fnatic can potentially tie it with you guys in G2 tomorrow in that match of the week. So definitely a lot to play for. Goldborg, it's slightly awkward because you've got a member of G2 on the sofa at the same time.
About that.
Okay, fine. And also, to be fair, given the circumstances, you're probably quite confident talking about who you think is going to win that one.
Oh, man, it's 2 struggling teams. Of course, I think it's a good stepping stone from either of them to move forward. But I think in terms of game plan and the way games were played out today, obviously, they played Excel, Fnatic played SK, but I think Fnatic played it out a little cleaner and came in with a different game plan as well and adapted really well to what SK drafted themselves. So I would actually have to give it to Fnatic a little bit with the edge there.
That's fine. I don't really mind what you think, to be honest. No offense, bro, but I think we will do well, and I'm excited to face Fnatic.
I'm guessing you didn't see the Fnatic SK game earlier.
I mean, I did watch it because it was directly before our game, was it? Actually, I don't remember when they played.
It was match number 2,
it was game number 2,
no,
yes.
Number 3.
Number 3. Okay, so
we had Vitality BDS. It was just quite a quick game, so
Yeah, so I didn't watch it fully, but I watched like the first 10 minutes, and yeah, well, it was really obvious who will win, right? Like Fnatic did play cleaner, and they didn't really... So they won early game, and then they snowballed, and they won the game. We lost early game, and then we make a comeback, and then we won the game. So yeah, I would give it to Fnatic when it comes to that. But, I mean, I'm biased towards my own team, I guess.
The other thing, I guess, being slightly devil's advocate here is you guys know what your issues are, but it's quite hard to put really put a finger on exactly what Fnatic's issues are. And they played SK, who sometimes get a little bit ahead of themselves, a little bit over-aggressive, lose to themselves as well as their opponents with more experience than them.
I mean, in the end, I can say as much as I want, right? It's going to come down to tomorrow. It's going to come down to the day. It's going to come down to the preparation that they've done on each other, right? So I feel like there'll be more for that for the pre-match tomorrow as well, that we'll have loads of for the match of the week.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm fired up for it. I mean, we got to have Mad Lions versus Rogue today. Tomorrow, we get to have an actual banger. Not that today wasn't a banger either. You know what? I'm just saying banging a lot because Broken Blade's on your team, and he literally describes everything as banging when you do well.
Okay.
You had a banging draft tonight.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we... Yeah.
You were literally on a team with him. You know he says banging all the time.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for backing up my point so I don't completely throw the end of the show, because that does it for us here today. Thank you for joining us, Jankos.
Thanks
We
so
are
much.
going to be back here tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. for more LEC. I forgot my phone, so I thought we could do a... Listen, I've been watching Shocks, okay? So I thought, do we do a selfie? Am I allowed? With
I think it's fine.
I've heard it's fine, even though it's embarrassing because I'm literally holding up. I'm such a mother. I am quite literally a mother. That's the cameraman.
But you need to flip it around.
How do I do it?
Yeah, I don't know. That.
I'm dying.
I'm fired. It was so nice
That was
knowing